war rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. As these two powerful forces prepare to clash, only one will rise victorious when the dust settles. While this and countless other battles rage on, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and the FLGS Partners, Warfire Minis, and X-Planet. Looking for a painting commission? Check out artwstudio.com.
Hello and welcome to Season of War! Tonight we have another exciting game of Age of Sigmar. A super thematic one, already looks awesome on the tabletop. That is because we have an exciting game here playing the mission Turf War for the first time. But yeah, here again, Soulblight on Nurgle today, Ryan. Actually, the premium members voted for me to play the Soulblight, so...
What, and not Gargants?
It was either Gargants, Soulblight, or Stormcast, and actually it was a super close vote between Soulblight and Stormcast, but...
And Gargants got destroyed as well.
Yeah, Vampires here today, one out though. I'm super excited. Also want to give a huge shout out to Art W Studio. That is the commission painting team that painted up this army for us, so... obviously you guys have seen it before. It looks amazing. Super happy every time I get to pull it out and throw it on the table. But yeah, so shout out to those guys. If you're interested in commission, definitely check them out. They had a few promotions going on. I don't know if they've ended at this time, but good stuff.
Cool. But
again, looking at the mission as we're getting started today, we're playing Turf War, as I mentioned. It's very simple, end-to-end deployment, just full on running at each other, only 9 inches away from the center. And there's only 2 objectives, and it's hold 1, 2 more. So pretty standard. Story will be interesting because it'll be hard to hold multiple objectives. But yeah, what else? The interesting things on this mission are that there was no deep striking, which is why you can see my entire Soulblight army on the table. And reserved or summoned units cannot shoot or charge the turn that they are summoned. So that hurts you a little bit. So interesting one for both of us. But yeah, let's just jump into lists. Ryan, do you want to take us through yours first?
Sure. I'm Nurgle.
You are.
I'm dirty. So it's kind of a full-on demon list. I've got the Great Unclean One here. He's rocking the Wither Stave and Nurgling Infestation. And then he knows the spell... The Make Plague Bearers Lots of Wounds spell.
Nice.
Fleshy Abundance, that's the spell. Then we have a unit of 3 Beasts of Nurgle here, another unit of 2 Beasts of Nurgle, and a unit of 3 Blight Drones, who are all in Bounty Hunters battalion.
Nice.
And then we have Horticulus Slimix back here. We have a Spoilpox Scrivener. And 1 Lone Beast of Nurgle over there, who are all in a Warlord battalion, which allows me to give the Scrivener the artifact that lets him cast 1 spell per turn, which is the AoE Disease Point spell. And that's pretty much it. There's not a lot to it.
Yeah, not a ton of different units. Often, you've played before with the Beasts as all singles here, but yeah.
Trying to get stuff in that battalion.
Yeah, the Bounty Hunters.
I should also mention that there were a bunch of Plague Bearers. I didn't say that.
Yes.
But there's Plague Bears.
Big 20 block in the center.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like you said, not a ton of different units. As opposed to me, I went the opposite direction. A lot of the same pieces that again, in our collection of Soulblight isn't big yet. But the 40 skeletons I'm running today are actually 4 individual 10s. So I have a unit of 20 Graveguard who are in Bounty Hunters, and joined in Bounty Hunters by the unit of 10 Blood Knights. I also have 2 units of 5 Blood Knights, another something with talking with like members in the Discord about different ways to play and all that. That's one of the things I wanted to try out. And then I have a unit of Fellbats. Worth mentioning, 3 of my 4 units of skeletons are Expert Conquerors, so that'll actually be sweet for hopefully storing points on storing the objective. And then for my hero loadout, I have the Vangorian Lord with the normal loadout of Rousing Commander and the Fragment of the Keep. And then I have a Vampire Lord and a Necromancer, both pretty much there to make the Graveguard extra killy. So hopefully that happens.
Nice.
And I'm in Castellai, so all my Blood Knights are battle line, and that's pretty much it. I did have the 2 5 blocks and my heroes in a battle regiment battalion, lowering my drops, which actually put me to 6. And here you were 7. So it did have an
Nurgle
impact.
number.
Yes.
I had to do it.
Yeah. Well, here again, outdropping you does give me the choice. And just with this mission, I think I'm going to give you first turn here, Ryan.
Okay.
Invite you to come onto the objectives. Namely, though, the thing I am going to do is make this one the proving ground.
Okay.
So obviously getting to going second in the round does let me choose that, and
Sure.
you're not super, you only got the 1 unit relation veterans, so.
So you now know where they're going.
Yes, forcing your hand a little bit.
I have to roll on my wheel.
Sounds good.
So we'll see what wheel I get. 4.
5.
Was that a 5?
It's 5, yep.
That's, I think, useless on turn 1. But oh, this is the you cannot pile in.
Oh, nice.
Closer to Nurgle
Yep,
stuff. So
solid one.
I don't need to summon my little dude on turn 1. I can summon something else.
Yep. But again, that's it for the introduction. Let's just jump into the game, going into Nurgle, round 1.
The Nurgle battle tactic is against the odds. Horticulus uses Cultivating the Garden of Nurgle to summon the Feculent Gnarlmaw. The Great Unclean One and Vengorian Lord both use Heroic Leadership. The Scrivener casts Gift of Disease but is unbound. The Great Unclean One casts Fleshy Abundance but is unbound. The Great Unclean One casts Mystic Shield on the Beast of Nurgle. Nurgle summons a Sloppity? The fuck? Nurgle scores 2 and more objectives and completes their battle tactic for 5 points.
All right, turn 1 was ever exciting. Someone rude dispelled my AoE disease points, which was really unfortunate because I could have literally pretty much hit every single model in his army except for those, which would have
And
been
maybe
nice.
I think the Vengorian Lord would have.
Maybe, but it still would have been lots of disease points.
Yes.
And I rolled an 8 too. He just rolled more than
Can't have it.
He also stopped Fleshy Abundance, which was also disappointing. But I cast Mystic Shield, so that was awesome. So I've got some Mystic Shield on some
Toads.
Some toads. Other than that, I got an extra CP because I was Heroic Leadership. I didn't do anything with that CP, but it's there. Other than that, just kind of move the whole army forward. I did summon a Bile Piper in there because everyone likes some music while we're fighting, so he's in there.
Gonna be annoying.
Yeah.
Stop him in pile-ins.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I got my battle tactic and took both objectives, so I got full score. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Nurgle doesn't do much on turn 1.
Yes, sir. Yeah, not with these. Not unless you're flies, doing the pre-game move and then pinning or something.
Yeah, not this Nurgle. Nurgle demons don't do much.
Yes.
My big turn 1 move was the AoE, and it fizzled.
It is big though that you do get hold 1, 2 more, and your battle tactic for 5 points. So solid turn, solid start of scoring, which now it's a little harder to push you off of some of the objectives, but with conquerors, whatever. We'll get into it.
Well,
Should be all right.
you'll take the objectives.
Yeah.
I need the onus is on me is to drop your numbers.
Yes.
I can't outnumber you.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
Yes, sir. And that's everything then. So we will just jump into Soulblight Gravelords, turn 1.
The Soulblight battle tactic is against the odds. The Vampire Lord uses heroic leadership, and the Horticulus uses heroic willpower. The Vangorian Lord fails to cast Mystic Shield. The Necromancer miscasts Van Hale's Dance Macabre and takes 3 mortal wounds. The Vampire Lord casts Soul Spike but is unbound. The Skeletons use At the Double. The Great Guard use Forward to Victory but choose not to charge. The Blood Knights use All Out Attack and deal 5 damage to the Beasts of Nurgle. The Beast of Nurgle deals 1 damage to the Blood Knights. At the end of the turn, Nurgle's Disease Points deals 1 mortal wound. The Gravelords score 2 and more objectives and complete their battle tactic for 5 points.
All right, so Soulblight turn 1 here, and main things I got hold 1, hold 2, hold more. Moved everything up, screened out with my 10 Scalies because they're allowed to die. Again, took both objectives. I set up actually interesting little trick because the 25 mil bases are smaller than an inch. I set up so I could charge my Graveguard through the ranks of my screening unit of skeletons. If I got a big enough charge to make it worthwhile, because I'm not piling in, doubly so because of both your wheel and the hero there. So I needed something big, got 7, re-rolled it into a 7, wasn't worth taking it.
Never seen someone re-roll a successful charge into a successful charge and then not actually charge before. It was a new experience for me.
I did take the charge over here though, with my Blood Knights. No, I was only getting 2 into combat, again, can't pile in. Got 5 damage on him though. There was a chance of killing the frog if I got a little lucky, but even still, it's not too bad. Just getting up a little further. And yeah, I put noteworthy against Nurgle. I want to deny your summoning as much as I can, so I put my unit of Fellbats wholly within your territory to deny you a point.
That was rude.
Yep. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. No other charges over there. Just trying to set up, ready to hit if need be, or in a good position also to do some hitting.
Cool.
And with that, we are into priority here.
Well, first,
Ryan,
the wheel goes.
Oh yes, so we're on to your
+1 to disease rolls.
Nice.
I got to get you poisoned.
Sounds good. We are going though into
Battle round 2.
Yes, sir. You and Ty, as I roll a 2.
3.
You have choice here.
I'm gonna take it.
Okay.
And I hummed and hawed about this, but it's because of this. I want to get as much disease on you as possible, and if I go first, I'll get way more disease on than if you
Makes
go first.
sense. Yes, for sure. And yeah, with that, we'll jump into Maggotkin of Nurgle, turn 2.
Sweet.
The Nurgle battle tactic is Glory to the Grandfather. Horticulus uses heroic leadership, which the Vangorian Lord fails. The Scrivener casts Gift of Disease but is unbound. The Great Unclean One casts Fleshy Abundance but is also unbound. The Great Unclean One casts Mystic Shield on the Plague Bearers. The skeletons use all-out defense. The plague drones use all-out attack and deal 6 damage to the skeletons. The Great Unclean One deals 4 damage to the skeletons. The Scrivener deals 3 damage to the skeletons. The beasts deal 3 mortal wounds to the Graveguard from Pestilent Battling Ram. The beasts deal 4 mortal wounds to the Blood Knights from Pestilent Battering Ram. The Great Unclean One uses Mountain of Lonesome Flesh and deals 1 mortal wound to the Blood Knights. The Graveguard use all-out defense. The beasts use all-out attack and deal 8 damage to the Graveguard. Graveguard deals 9 damage to the Plague Drones. The Plague Drones kill the skeletons. The Blood Knights deal 6 damage to the Great Unclean One. The beasts deal 3 damage to the Blood Knights. Blood Knights deal 1 damage to the beast. The beast deals 4 damage to the Blood Knights. The skeletons deal 1 damage to the Plague Drones. The Great Unclean One deals 9 damage to the Blood Knights. The skeletons deal 1 damage to the beasts. Nurgle's disease points finish off the Blood Knights and deals 7 additional mortal wounds. The Graveguards use Inspiring Presence. Nurgle scores 1 objective and completes their battle tactic for 3 points.
So this was an action-packed turn. The magic phase, the hero phase, the magic in the hero phase was not so great. Someone unbound
down again.
my AoE disease again, and I rolled high again, and he still stopped me. He unbound my fleshy abundance on the plague bearers, so they shimmied back. And then I put Mystic Shield on them because I guess I wasn't thinking about my plan, but that's okay. And then I moved the bugs forward, I moved the beast forward, I moved the Great Unclean One here forward, and then I charged in a bunch of beasts over there. Cleared out 2 units of Blood Knights completely. Took the Graveguard down to a man, or 4 men. Killed the unit of skeletons right here, which was my battle tactic, by the way, so I got that unit of skeletons. Yep. Yeah, did a little bit of damage there.
Well, you had to kill more units than me, right?
Yeah, more units, which...
I was trying to kill this toad to...
But I killed 3 things, so you weren't getting it. Other than that, disease point was great. The +1 to disease plus the wither stave just wreaked havoc over here. He had me by 1 model on the point because there were 3 each, and the disease took that 1 model, that 1 guy away to reduce him by 3, which got me the point. Yep. I don't think I'm anywhere close over there, so I didn't get.
Also that's the proven ground, so
right. I couldn't take it anyway, so I knew this turn was not going to be great for scoring. My goal was just to blend. And blend I did. Though the Great Unclean One didn't do so great in saves, but he chopped up the guys that were beating on him, so he's okay, but he did take 6 wounds, which I'm not overly thrilled with. But I think there's really nothing to threaten him, so by the time he gets to anything else dangerous, he'll heal up.
Lord's pretty quick.
Yeah, is he 1-on-1 a great and clean one?
I don't know. He does it. He seems pretty squishy.
Bring it. All right, so that's my turn.
Cool. Yeah. I was a little surprised that Blood Knight's going down so quick again. It's just like
Mortals.
it always surprises you. Yeah, exactly how much is coming out. Like even with only like do 2 damage in combat with like one of the toads.
Yep.
To the Blood Knights, but it's like the mortals after and everything, impact hits, all adds up. So
it's all mortals. This army does damage with mortals. It just everything else is chip damage.
Yes, sir. So potentially is a little too loosey-goosey with my Blood Knights. I almost was baiting your Great Unclean One over there into them, thinking they'd at least stick around with 1 or 2 guys, keep them tied up, or then retreat out or something. But yeah, that's a little disappointing. But we're gonna go into Soulblight Gravelords turn 2. See if we can clap back.
All right.
The Soulblight battle tactic is desecrate their lands. The Necromancer uses Heroic Recovery, healing 2 wounds, and the Great Unclean One heals 3. The Necromancer casts Van Hale's Dance Macabre on the Graveguard. The Vangorian Lord casts Amethystine Pinions but is unbound. The Vampire Lord casts Mystic Shield on the Blood Knights. Vangorian Lord stomps the Beast of Nurgle, dealing 1 mortal wound. The Beasts use all out defense, and the Vampire Lord deals 3 damage to them. The Vampire Lord uses Crimson Feast on the Graveguard, who deal 9 damage to the Beasts. The Beasts deal 3 damage to the Graveguard. The Blood Knights deal 7 damage to the Horticulus. The Horticulus deals no damage to the Blood Knights. The Graveguard deals 5 damage to the Beasts. The Plague Drones deal 1 damage to the Vangorian Lord. The Vangorian Lord deals 1 damage to the Beasts. Nurgle's disease points kill the Graveguard and deals 8 additional mortal wounds. The Gravelords score 2 and more objectives and complete their battle tactic for 5 points.
All right, so Soulblight turn 2. Sorry, this turn 2, yes. A little disappointing, as always, in output. There are very hitty, damaging pieces in Soulblight or units in Soulblight, like the big heroes. But nothing in this list really has a huge punch. The Blood Knights can be alright. Wasn't really in a position to activate them with like Rousing Commander. Didn't get to pile in, so I only got 5 guys in. And just with the tightness of this, it really limited me. So Horticulus survives with 3 wounds left, which is annoying. I did kill 2 of the 3 frogs, throwing everything I could at them. So it is what it is. At this point, really banking on that priority roll. So yeah, I think I still 12, 15, 17. I will still hold that objective.
Yep, barely, but you got it.
Barely.
For one more turn.
Exactly. So I did hold 1, hold 2, hold more, which is big because it puts me 2 points ahead because I also got my battle tactic here of Desecrate Their Lands. I was debating between that and Eye for an Eye, but this, knowing that I couldn't really, there's nothing I could really guaranteed kill. Even if I went for your bug with my Vandorian Lord, like he only did 1 damage, right? So he wouldn't have killed that bug. So Eye for an Eye, I don't really have pieces that I'm confident with in combat. And yeah, that's it though. 5 points here for Soulblight. Hoping for that priority this round.
All right.
You'll win ties. That's a 5.
That's it.
All right. Ryan rolls a 1. Very kind of you, sir. I'm going to take the turn going to Soulblight, turn 3.
Okay. Wheel goes to, I get an extra CP per tree.
Nice.
The Soulblight battle tactic is barge through enemy lines. The Vandorian Lord and Scrivener both fail heroic leadership. The Vandorian Lord falls prey to his undeniable impulse. The Vandorian Lord casts Amethystine Pinions. The Necromancer fails to cast Overwhelming Dread. The Vampire Lord casts Soul Spike on the Beast. The Blood Knights deal 3 mortal wounds to the beasts from Riders of Ruin. The Blood Knights use Forward to Victory and make their charge. The Blood Knights use All-Out Attack and kill both units of beasts. The Nurgle's disease points deal 6 mortal wounds in total. Ten Graveguard are returned from Endless Legions. The Gravelords score 1 objective and complete their battle tactic for 3 points.
All right, turn 3 for Soulblight was pretty important for me to get, just for more positioning than anything, and claiming, solidifying, reinforcing this one objective. Know how hard it is to kill the toads, right? So I obviously wanted to put my Blood Knights in there. I pinions my Vandorian Lord over, just so I could get him in Rousing Commander range and get him safe so that he's not going to die. I'll be able to start healing and doing some things. Yeah, and what else? Yeah, so with that, the Blood Knights did kill both those beasts of Nurgle, and then at the end of the turn, I got, it was a 3-up I was looking for to bring back half a unit, brought back 10 Graveguard, which is super handy, and I got my battle tactic for 2 points, so I'm going to score 5 here. I obviously was giving up that objective. If there was like a little more room where the Plague Bearers were, I could have potentially left my skeletons there and like still controlled that one. Wasn't enough room, so I decided to just kind of zone you out, try and slow you down and annoy you. Because you're not the fastest, and having to spend a turn killing skeletons isn't ideal for you. And with my Blood Knights killing a unit, or 2 units technically, but only one that matters, I get +1 wound for the rest of the game with them. So they're up. That's a 40 wound unit now, which is amazing. So first time I've actually killed a unit. No, not the first time. Oh crap! I actually forgot about that in the last game.
The last game. Wow.
Cast got away lucky. But that's about it. And so 3 points for me here. Up by 5 right now, but we're going into Nurgle turn 3.
The Nurgle battle tactic is barge through enemy lines. The Horticulus uses their finest hour, and the Vengorian Lord uses heroic recovery to heal 1 wound. The Scrivener casts Gift of Disease. The Great Unclean One fails to cast Fleshy Abundance. The Great Unclean One casts Mystic Shield on the beast. The Great Unclean One uses at the double. The Nurgle Force summons a Beast of Nurgle. The Plague Drones deal 1 damage to the skeletons. The Scrivener deals 1 damage to the skeletons. The Beast deals 1 mortal wound on impact and takes 3 from Soul Spike. The Bile Piper plays a Stabbing We Will Go. Vengorian Lord stomps, dealing 3 mortal wounds to the Horticulus. The Vengorian Lord uses all-out defense, and Horticulus deals no damage to him. The skeleton deals 2 damage to the beast. The Plague Drones kill the Necromancer and deals 1 damage to the skeletons. Horticulus uses all-out defense, and the Vengorian Lord deals no damage to him. The beast deals 3 damage to the skeletons. The Bile Piper deals 1 damage to the skeletons. Nurgle's disease points deal 5 mortal wounds in total. Nurgle scores 1 objective and completes their battle tactic for 3 points.
Alright, it was an interesting turn. I finally got my AoE disease explosion over there, and it got disease everywhere. It was delightful.
Disease that largely didn't do much.
Well, we killed some Graveguard, and it's about time and investment later. We kill you slowly. But I did almost wipe out a unit of skeletons here.
Yep.
Which will be a big problem if... This is a big problem. I did slaughter a Necromancer. Plague Bearers came in, said this is ours. Summoned in a Beast of Nurgle. Great Unclean One here is just booking it over as fast as his tushy can. Probably won't get there next turn, but the turn after that, it's Great Unclean One time. What else happened? Horticulus charged into your general. The 2 of them did a combined total of 0 wounds to each other. It was exciting.
It was beautiful.
But it was Slimex's finest hour, so there was that. It wasn't all that fine, but it did it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was okay turn.
The only thing we have to roll is I still get my 5 up to bring half a unit of skeletons back. No.
And yeah, so I guess we go to the wheel.
Yeah.
On the wheel, my next one is ward save of 4+ across the board, so I'm tanky.
Very handy.
And now we go to the roll-off.
Yes, sir. That's a 1. I win ties.
And I'm gonna take it because I need to get in.
Brian rolls a 5. So we will go into Nurgle turn 4.
All right.
The Nurgle battle tactic is head-to-head. The Piper fails heroic leadership, and the Vangorian Lord uses their finest hour. The Scrivener casts Gift of Disease on the Blood Knights. The Great Unclean One fails to cast Fleshy Abundance. The Great Unclean One casts Mystic Shield on itself. The Great Unclean One uses at the double. The Nurgle Force summons a Beast of Nurgle. The skeletons redeploy, moving 6 inches. The beast deals 3 mortal wounds on impact and takes 1 from Soul Spike. The beast deals 1 mortal wound on impact. The Piper uses My Love is Like a Ripe Fart. The Vangorian Lord stomps but deals no damage. The Vangorian Lord uses Olive Defense and Horticulus deals 2 damage to him. The beast deals no damage to the Blood Knights. The Vangorian Lord finishes off Horticulus. The beast deals 2 damage to the skeletons. The Blood Knights deal 1 damage to the beast. The Piper kills the skeleton. Nurgle's disease points deal 7 mortal wounds in total. 5 skeletons are returned from Endless Legions. Nurgle scores 1 objective but fails their battle tactic for 1 point.
So it was an interesting turn. I went with head-to-head for my battle tactic because I thought this unit of Plague Bearers could easily annihilate this unit of Galician veterans. But Jordan got a 6-inch redeploy and got far enough away that my rerolled charge didn't make it.
Yep.
Had he rolled 2 less on the redeploy, I would have made it and probably cut them to pieces.
That was...
This could be the swinging points in the game.
Big moments.
I don't think I don't know if I can come back from this now, but we'll obviously it's close enough that we're not calling it, but that was big because that puts me now 4 behind instead of 2 behind.
Yes.
I think you can't get the double turn because if you get 2 scores on me, I'm just done. But yeah, it's not too bad. Spells went off, disease explosion happened, stuff died. The Vango Lord popped off and killed Slimex. How rude.
Yep, he did.
Yeah, I killed a bunch of skeletons.
And he gets +1 damage for killing Slimex.
Oh, all right. So we'll see what happens. I was hoping Slimex would live 1 more turn and keep him in combat, but that's how the cookie crumbles. So yeah, we'll see what you do.
Yes, sir. With that, going into Soulblight Gravelords, turn 4.
The Soulblight battle tactic is eye for an eye. The Vangorian Lord uses Heroic Recovery, healing 1 wound, and the Great Unclean One uses Heroic Leadership. The Vangorian Lord casts Mystic Shield on the Blood Knights. The Vampire Lord casts Soul Spike on the Plague Drone. The Blood Knights deal 1 mortal wound to the beast with Riders of Ruin. The Plague Bearers redeployed, moving 2 inches. The Graveguard use Forward to Victory and makes their charge. The Beasts use All-Out Defense, and the Graveguard finishes it off. The Plague Drone deals no damage to the Vangorian Lord. The Blood Knights kill the Bile Piper. The Vangorian Lord deals 3 damage to the Plague Drone. Nurgle's disease points deal 3 mortal wounds in total. The Gravelord scores 1 objective and completes their battle tactic for 3 points.
All right, so Soulblight turn 4 was pretty good for me. Couple of big things I was going for. Because I actually got the unit back from whatever skeletons just popping back. Not Deathless Minions, is it? No. So I brought back the half unit of skeletons for 5 models. Combined with my guys who are Expert Conquerors, I had 6 models there, would have put me at 23 if I got them all on the objective. And you only had 22 after you redeploy, so I knew I would outnumber you. The only contingency was I did have a disease point on me, so that there's if your disease did 1 damage, it kills a guy worth 3 models, which is what happened. So you did the disease, killed a guy, I go from 23 to 20, and you outnumber me on the objective 22 to 20. I knew that potential was there, but it was worth spending the CP for at the double, because that could have sealed the game nearly.
Yeah. Like I think you're in good shape already.
Yes,
but that would have been just it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that happened. I put all my Blood Knights into your little hero there, mostly so I could get the +1 damage, and position with priority. If I get priority, they'll be able to race across and probably blow up your.
Yeah, if you get priority, I think it's just it.
Yeah,
because I can't. I have to have a turn.
That slight lead. Yeah, I got that lead.
On my
still,
turn 5,
so.
I have to get priority, and I have to hit you so hard that I take that objective there.
Yeah. Well, we are at the bottom of the round, or bottom of the game, going into the final round.
So I win ties.
You do win ties here. All right, you gotta roll first. That's a 3. I gotta beat it. 50-50. That's a 1.
I gotta take it.
Okay,
so the game's still going.
Yes, sir. We will be going into Nurgle turn 5.
The Nurgle battle tactic is desecrate their lands. The Great Unclean One uses their finest hour, and the Vangorian Lord fails heroic leadership. The Scrivener casts Gift of Disease on the Blood Knights. The Great Unclean One casts Fleshy Abundance, but is unbound. The Great Unclean One casts Mystic Shield, but is unbound. The Blood Knights redeploy, moving 2 inches. The Blood Knights use All-Out Defense. Scrivener deals 4 damage to the Blood Knights. The Beast deals 1 mortal wound to the skeletons on impact. The Beast deals 2 mortal wounds to the Blood Knight on impact. The Great Unclean One uses Mountain of Lonesome Flesh and deals 3 mortal wounds to the Blood Knights. The Blood Knights use All of Defense, and the Great Unclean One deals 9 damage to them. The Blood Knights deal 3 damage to the Great Unclean One. Plague Bearers deal 4 damage to each unit of skeletons. The beast kills the skeletons. The Nurgle's disease points finish off the skeletons, dealing 6 mortal wounds in total. Nurgle scores 1 objective and completes their battle tactic for 3 points.
So the turn went okay. Great Unclean One showed up. He didn't do so well with his puke. It was a rough puke. But in melee, he did okay. I mean, we cleaned up half that unit of knights, and they had 4 wounds
Actually, more
each.
than I was expecting.
Yeah. I had a toad over there clean up that last unit of skeletons, which was good. I mean, good's relative. It's not going to win me the game, but at least we got rid of 15 bodies in the point. Plague Bearers finally dealt with all these skeletons. My bug over here went and desecrated this poor mushroom hut.
Yep.
I don't want to provide details. And that was pretty much it. Like, it was an okay turn. Oh, an important thing was this guy sniped a whole Blood Knight with his shooting.
He did, yes.
Which is...
And then another Blood Knight just at the end to the
yep.
disease points.
Disease continues to be my #1 damage source. But unfortunately, in order to kind of have a shot at closing this out in a victory, I had to take that objective this turn. And it probably wasn't going to happen. Like, I had the damage to do it in theory, but 2-up saves, it just wasn't going to happen.
Yep. And that's, 2-up after Ren 1. They're on a 1-up basically right now.
So it was, I just couldn't chew through them. Had I chewed through them, I would have taken the point, because you don't have enough Graveguard on there to hold it. So there was an outside hope, but it was a very long shot. So it is what it is. I think it was still a close, awesome game.
Yeah. So at just to wrap up your turn, you store hold 1, and you get your battle tactic. What was your battle tactic?
Desecrate the Lance.
Yeah. Oh yes. So you got that for 3 points. You're down. Well, you would be down 1 point right now, going into my turn. So to just talk this out briefly, I can just back out and hold this one. There's no way I'm taking that one anymore, but you can't stop me from controlling this one. And all I need to do to deny, so that is guaranteeing me 1 point for hold 1. What I would do is throw a summonable unit into the Great Unclean One after I retreat out, and they die this round as a battle tactic. So it's how
you have a battle tactic to commit suicide?
Yes. So I would
want that battle
whip the bats in and have them die for the Soulblight battle tactic. So that's 3 points for my turn, putting me up by 4 points again at the end. And then all I need to do to deny actually your grand strategy, which is one of the Nurgle ones, is be within 6 of the center of the board, which I can do with my
which you already are,
and stay outside of combat. We're playing, basically you had to be just touching this terrain, which you are, but if I'm there too, then it denies it. So that denies yours. There's a potential chance. Right now, I already hold this one. For my grand strategy, I had to hold more of the grave sites than you. I would hold these 2. You would have held those 2. I could move them on in such a way that with a 10-inch movement, I think, to block you out from redeploying within 3 of it.
Right, but you would have fled with the Blood Knights?
Yeah. So if I'm outside 3 here...
No, I would have redeployed that guy.
Oh, roger that. So I would have to run, charge... Yeah. So regardless...
You're still ahead regardless.
There's a chance good chance I get mine, but depending on what happens, you could deny it with a big redeploy, but then I could also charge. All of that stuff. Lots going on. But in the end, it's going to be a Soulblight Gravelords win here.
Yep.
It was a good game.
Yeah, first dropped game for my Maggotkin.
Yeah.
Since the book came out. So it was intense. I thought after the first turn, or the first couple, like when I wiped out half your knights in like turns, I was like, things are looking pretty, but I made a big mistake early of deploying my Great Unclean One here, and he spent 2 turns running back.
Yeah, that was big. And now, I said it earlier that I was like baiting him over there. I was hoping to like survive and tie him up for longer, but even still, it did give me the option then mid-game to just pull fully away and avoid him. He's such a big piece for you in your damage.
Yeah, and like it was so tough to move around. So it was okay. Like in the long run, I think I whittle you down. If this goes to like 7 turns or whatever, it's
7
like,
rounds.
Eventually, Nurgle wins. Like
Yes.
we're inevitable. But unfortunately, the game ends at 5. Overall, I think the army was fine. Like I have no complaints about anything. Like the army performed exactly how they did. Like I made a couple mistakes. But your move to pull back everything over there rather than keep fighting me here was the move I think that did it. I did make the big blunder here and almost lost more points here, but fortunately disease points at least stopped me from losing that. But
the bringing back, we talked about it. The models are half a unit at the end of battle shop.
That's big.
It's big because it
Then
twice allowed me to like move a unit after. Or
well,
whatever,
in theory it's big. It actually didn't do anything because
yes,
of that one disease point. But in theory it's big.
I mean, it even keeps a unit over there, right? As opposed, so there's different things. Like,
although they weren't going anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. But definitely a cool little techie option that Soulblight has, or something you have to be aware of and concerned with. From my point, this is game 3 with Soulblight. Feel like I'm getting a better handle on the army. I definitely, like, my tens of skeletons, well, I didn't get to use them as effectively as I wanted to, being that we couldn't deep strike in this mission. They were still really good and super annoying. Because
annoying is the word.
Yes, because it's like, you can't really kill multiple units at a time. A little bit at the start.
Like they don't do much for screening in this match because I'm just not fast enough for you to care.
Yeah.
But just the fact that it's like, oh, there's a 10 block there that counts as 3 models each. I guess that objective's impossible unless I can get up on that 10-man unit.
Yeah, that was great for me, annoying for you. But otherwise, this was also the first time that I actually got to do the cast ally buffs with all the vampires. So Vandorian Lord was +1 damage. My Blood Knights. Now, I didn't actually get to super utilize it. I was hoping for that double, send them in to try and blow up the Plaid Bearers. But they were +1 damage, +1 wound, so that was cool to see after their brethren, got crippled turn 1 or turn 2. But
yeah, that big unit was the problem. And like especially the +1 wound, because had you not had that +1 wound, that unit would be basically dead right now.
Yeah, and their ability to like move out of combat is
that's huge.
That's
this whole army thrives on tying stuff up, and if I can't tie up your biggest thing, like there were so many times like a 1 toad was touching them, and you're like, okay, bye.
Yeah, so that was critical. Worth noting also the Vandorian Lord. Well, I think I used him better in this game than I have previously. I've come to just not expect any damage out of him.
You were way below average though.
That's just, I mean, 3s and 3s. He's not got a ton of attacks, so he's not a huge damage piece. But here, his debuffs.
That -1 to wound was devastating.
Yeah.
There was a
number of situations.
I saw so many 3s that should have been wounds because of him.
Yeah. So that was great.
I want his aura in my army.
Yeah, and
that
surviving.
Would be great.
Yeah, until the end of the game, for the first time, I think.
Yeah, he went up and down like a yo-yo.
yes. Yeah. He
Like
was healing and going back down, but survives in the end.
Killed Slimex. What a turd.
Yep. But I think that's it though, Ryan. That was a great game. Thanks for coming down as always.
No
always a blast. Great to see Nurgle out again. It's been a little bit since we've had them on the channel, and
still love the army.
Good game here on both sides, but excited to feel like I'm doing a little better with the Soulblight now.
Nice.
But, that's it. Pretty much we'll wrap things up. If you guys do enjoy our content, don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, and check out our premium membership if you want more battle reports. But otherwise, we'll say goodbye and see you soon in another battle report.